Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Real with Jordan and Demi. Demi is out today. It's just me. And today I have Leah Kate. What's going on?
What's up? Just got back from a 6-week tour and writing trip. This is my first morning back in LA, sitting on the floor of my studio. I don't know why I've chosen the floor, but welcome to my floor.
How's it feel? How's it feel to be back in LA?
So weird. I keep waking up in the middle of the night being like, where am I? Like I think I'm maybe in a new city or something on tour. And it's weird. It's like I dream about tour still. And I think I'm waking up in like Europe and I'm like, whoa, I'm not. So it's definitely
Yeah,
weird.
I saw your last Instagram post. It was like just like a collage of photos from the tour.
Yep,
Uh,
I was feeling super nostalgic this morning, not missing tour at all, looking at all the Polaroids.
all the Polaroids. Nice,
Oh,
nice. So we'll talk about that tour in a little bit, but first we want to get to Hangout Festival, which you're playing on May 21st. You're on the same night as Halsey and Doja Cat are the headliners on your day. So first of all, have you done many festival gigs in the past?
Nope, this is pretty much my first one. I'm so excited. I'm playing on the main stage, which I've definitely never done before. I can't wait. It's pretty much it's yeah. I'm gonna consider this my first music festival, and I'm stoked.
And this is in Gulf Shores, Alabama. And I love the, I'm a big like aesthetics guy. And I think the art for this is really cool. How they made like the poster look like a tourist, like airbrush thing. I think it's really cool. How did you get put into this out of all the festivals? How did you end up on this bill?
I think probably what happened is my song 10 Things I Hate About You started exploding, and then all of a sudden I had all of these shows booked, and I was like, okay, cool. And my agents were like, we booked you on Hangout Festival. I was in Amsterdam about to go to bed when they told me, and I was like, let's go. So I think it just happened with like everything that's been going on. You know, I've been asked to do more shows, which I'm so excited about. So
Yeah.
yeah, how it went down.
Yeah. And 10 Things I Hate About You has just gone nuts. I mean, it hadn't been out that long. I mean, you released it this year, what, like a couple months ago or
A couple
something?
weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago. Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting because you had kind of had some rock elements to your music before. Like the U Anthem was like a rock song, but I feel like this, this single and Dear Denny, which preceded it, are very much, rock songs. So what prompted that real like hard turn into rock?
I always just loved guitar-driven songs, and I brought elements into it into my earlier music, but I was just ready for like a shift last year. And so I wrote this song Calabasas that started as like a pop disco song. And I was like, I feel like this needs like heavy guitars. Like I just like I mean, I grew up on, this kind of music and love it. So I sung the acapella over like this rock song just to like feel out the vibe and took a voice note and I sent it to my producer and I was like, take this in that direction. This sounds so fire. And it just kind of spiraled from there. And then Dear Denny, yeah, I mean, definitely is super. That one's a rock anthem for sure. It just, yeah, so it kind of yeah, I mean, happened, but that's my favorite type of music and the music I kind of grew up on. And, I'm so excited about the resurgence of that. And
Yeah.
just, love bringing elements of guitars back into my
Because I
songs. So.
think about you're what, like 26, 27. So this kind of music, the early 2000s, like pop punk stuff was big when you were like a real little kid. So do you still have it kind of like in your subconscious? Like when do you remember the first wave of that?
100%. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's fun. And I wouldn't consider my music to be like pop punk, but I grew up like loving pop punk and rock.
Right. And that's why I wanted to talk about too, is the style, because I feel like, the whole like rock coming back thing. And I feel like everyone kind of the first step was to do that kind of pop punk power chords, but specifically, 10 Things I Hate About You has more of a grunge feel, has more of like a mid 90s feel, more of like a post grunge kind of
Mhm.
feel. So I know from a production standpoint, how do you land on the right guitar sound you're looking for?
Right. I guess through just like references and stuff when we were in the studio making that song that day, I was in with with Mike, my producer, who also produced U Anthem, and I was just like, let's make an U Anthem part 2. It's like about the same person,
Yeah.
same story, same everything. I was like, this song is working. U Anthem was exploding at the time on TikTok, and I was like, all right, let's recreate this. People are liking this. Let's do it again. And then, you know, we landed on 10 Things I Hate About You. And I was like, I wanted to be in the similar like pop rock anthemic lane. And we just kind of wrote it. And now here we are a few weeks later, and it's one of the biggest songs in the world. So I'm like, okay, maybe people are liking it.
Yeah. It's great. So is this indicative of, I'm assuming there's like an EP or an album coming down the pike. Is this kind of indicative of the sound are you going to have like a full like rock album coming out?
Yeah, I would definitely say a lot of the songs are pop rock anthemic bangers.
Yeah.
In a similar lane, you know, some songs venture off a bit, but it's in the same world. So if you like 10 Things I Hate About You, you're hopefully gonna like the new music too.
And so, you just gotten off a tour,
Mhm.
and what was that whole situation like? I mean, over in Europe and all this stuff, what was that experience like? And you're doing these shows as 10 Things I Hate About You was growing online. So was it like audiences were like singing it back louder and louder as the tour went on?
It was the craziest experience of my life. Like every night you could hear the crowds get louder and more phones would go up, and the screaming would get louder before I even introduced the song. I would be like, so I wrote this list once. And like when I just say the word list, it's like the whole crowd is screaming so loud I would have to stop and just wait
Wow.
for it's like end. And it like you could see it becoming more and more of this like cultural moment every single night. The intensity just like got bigger and bigger, and it was so crazy to watch. I mean, being on your first tour is one thing, your first European tour is another thing, and then having your first song really like go all at the same time while not sleeping and being on the road every day. I mean, it was just another level. It was absolutely insane, but it was the best 5 weeks of my life. So it was
And
wild.
you're touring with Madison Beer, and who is huge,
Yeah.
like just a huge following. So what did you learn from her interaction? Like, like what was that? Did you guys bond? Like, what was that experience like touring with Madison Beer?
Oh my God, it was incredible. She's amazing. We became super close, would hang out in her dressing room and stuff before the shows. She was so supportive. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better first tour. She was just incredible, the best, like, so humble and cool and supportive. Like, you know, tour is like a lot. There were days where I was like, I'm losing my voice. Like, I don't know if I can sing. um, and, you know, she would give me pointers on like what to do to, you know, help get your voice back and just little things. She was amazing, and her fans are incredible. So I'm so grateful that that was my first tour. I feel so lucky to have opened for her. She's so talented, and her show is amazing.
And did you
So
get to enjoy Europe at all? Did you have like off days where you could actually like go do stuff?
no,
Um,
because on the days off, I was like, I'm dead. I'm laying in bed all day. Literally, you can find me in my bed with the curtains closed. There was obviously a couple of days where I'd like go out to a lunch or whatever, but I was so tired on the days off that because we did a lot of shows in a row. There, you know, we would do four nights in a row sometimes, and that is crazy in reflection. So yeah, I wouldn't consider it a Euro trip. It was really just like travel, you know, wake up, drive to the venue, sound check, hair, makeup, pictures, show, go to the hotel, sleep a few hours, do it again. So I wouldn't call it a Euro trip, but it was still amazing just being in Europe and the feel and the energy and, you know, the drives. But yeah, I wasn't being too much of a tourist this time.
and I know that you're a prolific songwriter in terms of you're always like coming up, you're always doing voice memos, you're always like thinking of new songs and melodies, stuff like that. Do you write much? Did you get to write much on the road? Were you like on, in the hotel at night, like giving yourself voice memos, or did you like completely forget about that while you were performing?
I would say, like, I started a lot of ideas where I just was writing thoughts and voice memos down, but I did not write one song on the tour because I would get home and I was just so tired. I didn't even call my mom or anyone. I was just like, I just want to go to bed after the show. So I wasn't, there's a lot of things I didn't get to do while I was on the tour. I started just, you know, I'm always writing down lyrics and ideas and little melody things I have. But it wasn't like a writing trip for me just because it was so busy. And then after the show, I'd be like, okay, I need to go on vocal rest now. So singing and writing, it was hard to squeeze it in because you're just trying to save all of your energy to put on the best show possible. But now that I'm back, I've been on a writing grind. I've written like 8 songs since I've been back. So back at it.
Yeah, yeah. And you're going back out on tour later in the summer with Chase Atlantic.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you're going to have more, do you think that tour is going to be like more chill, or like you're going to have more time to do what you want because you had like the previous European tour, which will be so much harder than just touring around the US,
Right. Mm-hmm.
So,
I think US will be a breeze compared to Europe. I'm also getting a proper tour bus this time, so I'll be able to sleep in one place, not carry like 17 suitcases into a hotel every night, switching places all the time. The time zone, that will be easier. I think everything in my band was like, US is going to be a breeze compared to this. So I think it's going to be a lot easier. Yeah, I really didn't like the Sprinter bus, I won't lie. Like, we had this tiny little van that we drove throughout Europe in with no air conditioning, so I think just eliminating that will make it a lot easier, but I'm so excited. I think it's gonna be so much fun.
Well, you'll remember it fondly in 20 years. You'll be like, remember that first tour with the sweaty van in Europe, it'll be a fun story.
Totally. Everyone has to go through like a shitty first tour experience where you're on a serious budget and you live off of like gas station turkey and your van doesn't have Wi-Fi or air conditioning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Super fun.
And you said you're like pretty jet lagged right now.
Oh yeah. I'm on 30 time zones at the moment. I don't even know where I am. I'm like in the ocean somewhere lost.
Floating around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know that you've been releasing music for 4 or 5 years now, but it's really been the last 2 where you've really like hit the gas and made stuff that I know that your brother has helped you out. Can you tell me about like that relationship? And was he like calling up like, sis, I can help you with this music. Let's do this now. Like, how did that singer, producer, writer partnership, how did that whole thing come together with you and your brother?
Like when we were so young, we started working on music. He was like 10, I was 13, and he and I like took drum lessons together, and he started messing around on GarageBand, just making beats, and I would like be like, okay, let me freestyle some melodies over this, and then we just started writing songs. And our parents built this little in-home studio in our house growing up, and we just made music forever growing up. It was just what we did in our free time, and he's super talented. He's amazing. And then, yeah, it took me a while to like really start releasing because I just wasn't sure what kind of music I wanted to put out or what my sound was going to be. And I was like afraid of what people would think. And I wanted to like, I didn't have that much support around me. I didn't really know what I was doing. I just had to hustle and figure it out on my own. So it did take me some time. I probably started releasing like 4 or 5 years ago. But it was something that's been in the works like my whole life since I was a kid.
Did you grow up like, I know that you doing music early, but did you what's your instrumentation background? Do you play piano when you were a little kid? Like, what did you kind of first start on?
Yeah, I started on piano as like a 5-year-old. My mom put me in lessons. I took drums.
I think everyone's mom puts them in piano lessons at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, okay.
It's like learn how to feed yourself, learn how to tie your shoes. Okay, now you're playing piano.
Piano. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I grew up just around a ton of music. My dad works in the radio business, so I was always like, he was super into like folk music, and just I was around so much music. My aunts are both singer-songwriters. My uncle like played clarinet. One of my grandpas was a singer. So I was around so much music and so many musical people. So I think it was just like, yeah, I started singing before I could even speak. So it was just always what I loved.
The music you released, before this last wave, and from 2020, 2021, that was more pop oriented. When you started making that kind of music, what was your goal? Like, did you envision yourself being like a pop singer, or did you always wanted to be kind of a genreless, like whatever music is the way to go? Or was there like a moment you're like, I want to be Dua Lipa? you know?
Yeah, I was always like, I want to be the biggest pop star in the world. So that was always how I had what I had my eyes on. I was like, I want to sell out stadiums and just,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
go. And so that was always the goal. Yeah.
What did you listen to when you were, because to me, when like middle school is like the real like formative years when it comes to music, because that's when you first kind of go off. When you're a little kid, you listen to like whatever's on the radio, whatever your parents are playing. But middle school is like the where you like find your musical identity. So in that period, what kind of music did you latch on to?
Yeah, I like Gwen, No Doubt, Avril, Green Day, Blake 182. Those were like favorites. Yeah, and definitely had a big like impact on the music I make, and yeah, I would say that was like those were the vibes in the middle school days.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Did you get into so but you listened to a little bit of rock. So you were like straddling the rock and the pop worlds when you were a kid.
Yeah, I
And
listened to so much. I mean, my dad even had this like country music folk show where I would like help him. I would go on the radio with him and like he did it for fun. Just like on the side, he had a fake name and was the radio host of this country music show. So I dabbled a bit in that. I was kind of all over the place. And so yeah.
do you dig country at all, or did you dig country at all?
I,
You're of like the Taylor Swift generation. Did you
I love Taylor. How could you not? She's always an inspo. Lyric,
yeah, yeah.
so talented. I love her. Huge fan.
I so you like a lot of people coming up right now, you blew up on TikTok. Your like TikTok's following is huge, and that's kind of what helped catapult you to where you are. Have you always enjoyed TikTok, or was it more of a chore? Like I have to do this song, I have to do this video to get the content out there. Where you like naturally into it?
At first, when it was starting to pop off in the beginning of the pandemic, I was like, "Oh my god, what is this new outlet that I have to get on?" Apparently,
Yeah,
and so when I didn't know how to work it, it was really annoying to me. I was like, "I hate that there's another thing." But now it's like my favorite app, and I go on it all the time, and I love it because like I don't feel pressure to be anyone or do anything that's just not authentic to me. I just go on and I make my videos. I don't think about them. I just do what's on my mind, and like it can be like it's like the goofiest version of myself. I feel like there's no filter on TikTok. You know, I just put something out and if people like it, they like it. If they hate it, they'll hate it. And it's just like the beauty of TikTok. If something's meant to be heard or found by someone, it will be. So I love it now because it's just like so easy and I don't think about it. I'm like, all right, this is what I want to say. I'm going to say it. And if 30 million people love it, then great. If 100 people love it, great. Cool. I'm glad I fed those 100 people with content they like.
yeah. I want to get your opinion on something. You know, there's this trend now. It's not really a trend. It's just something that happens on TikTok when people write a song about someone and they reveal the song to them, like in the car or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Do you think that's cool, or do you think it's corny?
Hmm. I never know if it's like real or not. So I
Yeah,
feel,
right. That's
yeah,
what
I'm
my
like,
question is.
yeah, I'm like, is it corny? Is it even real? Because that's like bold and like you have to be ballsy to be like, hey, I'm
Right.
putting on this camera, hold on, and I wrote this song about you. So to tell
Yeah.
them you wrote a song about them is like really hard. And I know that a lot of people and guys specifically know my songs are about them, but it's I'm not always like, hey, let's take a video in my car and I'll tell you this is about you. I'm just like, I'll figure it out on their own. So I don't know if it's yeah, I mean it's if it's real, then like that's amazing. If not, great marketing tactic and I'm all here for it.
So yeah, because my thing was the ones that are like where someone's confessing to a crush that they have a crush on them through a song. I'm just like, I don't know, you know.
Right. I'm like, is it real? I've definitely done crazy things for videos, like texted exes or people lyrics of songs. So I am, I get it. But yeah, I wonder, I see those videos a lot. I'm like, maybe I should try that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
sick.
yeah. Do you enjoy? I know that first of all, you have a dope aesthetic. It's sort of like Hot Topic, like on steroids meets Britney Spears kind of vibe, like your stage costumes. Where
Right.
does that aesthetic come from? How did you kind of, especially now that you had this tour to really like show off some dope costumes and like, you know, really explore that whole world. So where did that aesthetic come from?
Yeah, I mean, fashion has always been such like a big part of everything for me. I actually used to want to be a fashion designer also. So I love fashion and putting together outfits. I worked really closely with my stylist to make sure all of the fits like were cohesive but different. So we wanted to incorporate just lots of like fishnets and like arm wraps and
Yeah.
mini skirts and plaids and like kind of channel like Gwen Stefani vibes.
Yeah,
Um,
there's also kind of a Vivian Westwood kind of angle to it.
yeah, 100%. So, like, putting together the looks for this was so much fun, and I loved every single fit of mine. I have, like, all the pictures here. Um, but just, like, I don't know, there was always kind of, like, a fishnet moment. Can you see this? Or probably not.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, I
exactly.
always wore these fishnets under everything, or, like, a mesh top or, like I didn't want it to be, like, normal fits, you know, like I wore like bras over t-shirts or like, you know, like fishnets coming up too high. Like I wanted to have like a spice to it. Like this, like I wore like a bra over a white tank top. You know, it's obviously not like traditionally how you
Yeah,
wear.
and it's not something you would like go to Starbucks in,
Definitely not. Not the and I'm all about like sweatpants and wearing like comfy clothes all the time. So I would not wear that to Starbucks. But like, yeah, just cool, like nostalgic-y fishnet vibes. And yeah, it was so fun putting them together. People, the fans loved the fits. They started wearing things like fishnets and mini skirts and you know, just like how they started dressing like me when they would come to the show. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that's the whole wild aspect to it because you talk about Gwen Stefani, like Gwen Stefani is the most influential like girls coming to concerts dressed like her, especially like in the No Doubt days with the crop tops and the low rise jeans and stuff.
Yeah,
So that's got to be surreal to see. Like you got to feel like you're doing something right when people imitate your style.
100%. I'm like, oh wow, you guys like what I'm doing? Thank you. That's so nice.
So will a July tour be a completely different look, or are you going to make it kind of continuous?
It's gonna be like similar but elevated. I'm still gonna be in the same vibe for sure, but I wanna, you know, spice it up a little bit, you know, add I won't be wearing any of these same pieces. It's gonna be all new and elevated a little, but the same. Cause I just like, I don't know, I feel like me when I wear these fits, you know? It feels like I should be singing what I'm singing when I wear this. Like this is how I feel the most me right now. So I'm gonna stay me, you know, elevate it, make it different, new tour, new fits, new
Yeah.
pieces, same world.
They have albums you can put those Polaroids in. You don't have to keep them in a plastic bag.
Yeah, this is so not okay. I need to figure this out. Please let me
Yeah.
know where I can get one.
Yeah. Go on Amazon. They have because I used to do a lot of I'm a music photographer. That's how I got started in this like Popdust stuff. And so I do all the photos and videos for Popdust and I used to shoot a lot of instant film and I have a whole like library of that stuff.
Oh, amazing.
Um,
Love
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. So you mentioned, that you're like you're back home. I can see the little studio set up, the home studio set up behind you with you got the monitors, and the keyboards, the guitars. Are you like, because are you basically just home for the next 10 days or so before you do the festival, or what are your plans? You got to rest, and then are you gonna try to get some stuff recorded?
Yeah, I mean, I spent the last week writing and recording in Toronto with the crew I wrote 10 Things I Hate About You with. These next 2 weeks before I leave are insane, so resting's not in the cards. But I'm just like so busy right now, recording, writing, have a music video on Friday, finishing up music, tons of press. Times are definitely very crazy and it's very, very fast right now, but I love it. I'm, just doing what I love. So I'm really grateful that I get to do all of this. But yeah, I would say resting is not on the top of the list.
Well, I hope that you at least get to, catch up with friends, go out for a drink or something like that. You're from LA, right?
Yeah, born and raised here.
And then you moved to New York for 4 or 5 years.
Mhm. Yeah.
What did you want to get out of that New York trip, and why did you return to LA?
I feel like I subconsciously needed to go like ruin my life somewhere and like get out of my comfort zone and not have any family pressure. It was hard getting like support from people to pursue music. So I was like, I'm just gonna leave and no one can say shit to me. And I can go just do whatever I want and go out. And I think you have to like hit a low point to get to your high point. And New York was definitely that for me. And I think I needed that. I think I was like sick of the same old thing in LA and I just needed to get out and like learn what not to do and how not to live my life. And it was great because I got a lot of song content from or inspo from those times. Grew up a lot, learned who not to be and who I want to be and what I want to do. And, so I think New York it's crazy living in New York as a young person while you're growing up in such a crazy city. So New York was a lot of learning for me, but it was the best time of my life, and I learned so much living there. But I just really needed to take a leap of faith and go just like lose my mind, come back, get my shit together.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been back and forth. I lived in New York for 5 years and I moved out here in February. So I'm newish to LA, and
Yeah.
I'm going to miss New York when the summer hits. New York summers are like the best.
The best, right? Such good energy.
Yeah.
Always.
Cause everyone's so grateful to be able to go outside and not have it be 20 degrees and the
Mhm.
wind blowing off the river and stuff.
Right? I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know that like exes inspire your music. Do you ever have contact with the guys that you mention in your songs, or is it like completely shut off where you have no idea what they think?
Oh my God. So there's some that still contact me, and then there's some that are just like blocked and I'll never talk to again. There's, it there's a few of them. So yeah, some I still talk to and we're friends. Some hate me. Some never want anything to do with me again. Some want me back. There's a variety of different kinds of exes, and they've all made their way into my songs in one way or another, and they probably know that. And then there's the guys who are like, "Thanks for writing this song about me," and I'm like, "Okay, it wasn't even about you. Relax." So there's all kinds of guys that I've dated that are just always creep their way back in somehow. But yeah, I would say those are like the types of exes I deal with.
Yeah, and now you have that Taylor Swift thing going on where you're big enough to where when you start dating someone, they're going to be like, "Am I going to end up in a song someday?"
Right, like, it's scary out there. Don't mess with me or else your name is gonna end up in a song title.
Yeah,
Beware.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're not writing music, like is your family and your family's in LA, I guess still, your parents?
Yeah, everyone's here.
Are you pretty close to them? I mean, how much how much time do you spend? Are you a friends and family? Because that's like when you're not making music, people are like, I spend time with my friends. Do you really do that, or do you actually like spend a lot of time with your friends and with your parents especially?
I'm like I hang out more with my mom and dad and family than, like, any friends or anyone. I'm such, like, a homebody and love my family so much. I spend too much time with them. So, yeah, I mean, we have, like, dinner together every Sunday night. I love my family. I hang out with them all the time. So, spend too much time with them.
Two questions about your friends.
Yeah.
First, do they offer you ideas for songs? They like, hey, you know what? You should do a song about this.
Oh,
Do you ever get that?
I love getting inspo from my friends who, like, have insane dating drama, because
Nice.
yeah, so there's my one friend, I won't name drop her, but she is so funny. She just, like, cracks me up, every story she ever has with a guy is, like, insane, and I'm like, "Oh my god." I've written songs about her experiences before, because 'cause they're just so next level.
Mm.
So I love finding inspo. Most of my songs are pretty much just about my life, but I've definitely written about other friends' experiences. If they're crazy enough, I'm like, "Oh my god, that needs to be a song. That's next level."
And what do you listen? What are you listening to right now? Do you have anything that you're like, because that's always kind of the standard music question is like, what were you bumping in the tour bus kind of thing, in the Sprinter van?
Right. I think in the Sprinter van was a lot of like 1975 because I was trying to like get in the van, like relax, just like have good vibes,
Road
sleep.
trip music.
Road trip music, a lot of calm app in my ears, like peaceful sounds where I'm just like tuning out of the world for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will let you go. We really appreciate you hanging out with us, and we wish you luck on the Hangout Fest and the tour coming up. Do you have any singles coming out? Let's talk about that. Do you have what's the next music release situation?
So I'm definitely gonna be dropping a single in the next couple of months, kind of deciding which one's coming next right now. So I'll be teasing a lot on my TikTok or around town. But yes, music will be coming very soon. Not sure which the next single is gonna be yet, but I know it's gonna be soon.
Oh, the last thing I really wanted to ask you about was you had started out, you'd released a bunch of stuff independently, and
Mhm,
now you're on 10K, which is like kind of an indie label here in LA.
mhm.
Why did you choose that label instead of trying to go for the majors right out of the gate? Because it's not really. I feel like there's a lot, especially in the. I know that you're leaning towards rock, but you're sort of, you're like a pop star kind of person, and I
Mhm.
think you're like go completely independent or go to a major, and you kind of split the difference. So why did you go in that direction?
Because, like, the team at 10K, I just think is so brilliant, and so it was really them, because I wanted to sign with the people I also felt most connected to and who were so passionate about my project, and they're all so smart and just incredible that I loved the team, and I think it's cool to just be a bigger fish in a smaller pond than, like, at a major label where there's, like, the biggest artists in the world, and thousands of artists. So I thought this was a really good home for me, and I'm so excited. I love the team. They're so incredible and passionate and working so hard, and I'm so grateful to have such an insane team around me. It's like I can't even believe it sometimes.
And was 10 Things I Hate About You or Dear Denny, was that the very start of the 10K, or
10
have you,
things was.
10 Things was, so you've only had that one single out on 10K. Wow. And
Yeah.
that's the one that, so like so far so good, right?
So far, so good. They are crushing it.
Yeah. 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 All right. Well, we wish you the best, and we will look out for you on tour this summer.
Yay, come to a show. Let me know if you're ever in a city.
Absolutely. All right. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. That was Leah Kate. Her new single 10 Things I Hate About You is out now, playing Hangout Fest on May 21st and on tour this July. Thank you for watching and listening to It's Real with Jordan and Demi. Demi will be back the next episode. Until then, you can catch past episodes on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch, and of course, listen on Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, we'll see you later.